is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Let me entertain you. Are you not entertained? Make your next thing a big one. This week's shows, let's see. Oh, the Cedar Lounge tomorrow night in Morrilton, Arkansas. That's Thursday night as I'm recording this on Wednesday evening. Let's see. Now, B-Rock will be the guest DJ tomorrow night, and that is a fantastic thing. B-Rock does such a good job when I can't make it to the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas. Video dance party, karaoke jam. You're the stars of the show. They got great food. They got good drinks, good people, good times at the Cedar Lounge. I'm so sad that I won't be there, but B-Rock will take very, very good care of you. Thank you, B-Rock, for being at the Cedar Lounge, 6 to 10 in Morrilton, Arkansas on Thursday night. Yeah. And then Friday night, my regular Friday night gig, I'll be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas from 8 p.m. until 1 in the a.m. Video dance party, karaoke jam, full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. There's a pool tournament Friday nights at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. So if you want to try to make some money playing pool, I encourage you to check that out. Yeah, you can make some money while you're waiting to sing on stage right next to me. And yes, we're taking precautions. Wear a mask on the way in, wear a mask when you're walking around. You can take the mask down when you're sitting down, having your drinky drinks and having some good food. That's at both shows. So yeah, take care of each other. Thursday evening, it's 6 to 10 at the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas with B-Rock, your guest DJ. And then on Friday night at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas, 8 p.m. until 1 in the a.m. And that's hosted by yours truly. Yes, I'll be there. And then Saturday night, it's Halloween. I don't have a Halloween show. I don't have a Halloween gig. So I guess I'll be passing out candy or eating lots of candy or something to do with candy because, you know, I like me some candy. Oh, yeah, Friday night at the Rab, we're going to do a costume party. That's right. So celebrating Halloween a little bit early. So if you're in the area, put your costume on and come on out to the Rab. Sing a song as whatever character, whatever Halloween idea you have. You can start one day early. You don't have to celebrate Halloween on one day. You can do it on 2 days. Start on Friday night at the Rab. Halloween costume. Almost forgot about that. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, October 28th, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, Trump, Biden make closing appeals a week before Election Day. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden and President Trump took different approaches on Tuesday, exactly 1 week before Election Day, with Biden campaigning in Georgia, a red state he hopes to flip, while Trump focused on making his final pitch in battleground states. Biden promised to heal a divided nation in a speech and 2 campaign ads, saying Americans, quote, must free ourselves from the forces of darkness, from the forces of division, and the forces of yesterday, end quote. Trump intensified challenges against mail-in voting, which Democrats are pushing to reduce the risk of coronavirus infection, saying without evidence that it would increase fraud. He also argued that the pandemic has been overstated and attacked Biden as mentally weak and his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, Democrat, California, as too liberal. Quote, I'm the only one standing between you and the left-wing mob, end quote, Trump told supporters in Wisconsin. This is according to the New York Times and Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Number 2, Dodgers rally to beat Rays in Game 6 and win World Series. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 in Game 6 of the 2020 World Series in Texas to win the team's first baseball championship since 1988. The Rays took a 1-0 lead into the sixth inning, thanks largely to dominant pitching by starter Blake Snell, who struck out 9 and allowed only 2 hits through 5 1/3 innings. 5 1/3 innings. The Dodgers then rallied with Mookie Betts hitting a one-out double off reliever Nick Anderson that started a series-winning sixth-inning rally. Quote, "I'm not exactly sure why," end quote. Snell was removed, said Betts, who struck out twice against the starter. Quote, "I'm not going to ask any questions, but he was pitching a great game," end quote. The 2020 series, capping a coronavirus-shortened season, was the first played entirely at a neutral field. This is according to NBC News and NPR. Number 3, report. Taxpayers, Trump supporters billed $8.1 million by Trump businesses. U.S. taxpayers and President Trump's supporters have paid a combined $8.1 million to Trump's own businesses, including his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida, throughout his presidency, the Washington Post reported Tuesday, citing documents and public records. Trump has visited his properties around the world more than 280 times in office, bringing family, foreign leaders, and Secret Service protection with him. During a Mar-a-Lago summit with Shinzo Abe, then Japan's prime minister, Trump's aide stayed in a $2,600 per night house, records show. When Trump met with China's Xi Jinping, the club charged the government $7,700 for Trump and Xi's dinner. White House spokesperson Judd Deere said any suggestion Trump used his office, quote, as a way to profit off of taxpayers is an absolute disgrace and lie, end quote. This is according to the Washington Post. Number 4, hundreds protest fatal police shooting of black man in Philadelphia. Hundreds of people protested in Philadelphia for a second straight night on Tuesday following the fatal police shooting of Walter Wallace, a 27-year-old black man. Police said Wallace ignored orders to put down a knife before officers shot him on Monday. Wallace's parents said Tuesday that their son was having a mental health crisis, and officers knew it because they had been to the family's house 3 times Monday. Quote, "When you come to a scene where somebody is in a mental crisis and the only tool you have to deal with it is a gun, where are the proper tools for the job?" End quote, said the Wallace family's attorney, Shaka Johnson. Police said the officers were responding to a report of a person with a weapon. Video footage shows Wallace being shot multiple times in front of onlookers. This is according to The Guardian. Number 5, turnout reaches half of 2016 level with elections still a week away. Nearly 70 million Americans have already cast ballots with Election Day still a week away, far more than usual as tensions flare and voters seek ways to reduce the risk of coronavirus infection by casting absentee ballots. That's about half the total turnout from 2016. But postal delays and court decisions suggest dropping off ballots in person at this point is the better option to make sure the mail-in ballots from now forward will be counted, election administration and postal experts say. Though the United States Postal Service is prioritizing ballots, service levels are slowed in some states, and there is a chance ballots will be misidentified. Voters who haven't requested or received a ballot yet shouldn't plan to vote by mail, experts say. This is according to the Washington Post. NXIVM sex cult leader sentenced to 120 years. NXIVM cult leader Keith Raniere was sentenced Tuesday to 120 years in prison after his conviction last year on sex trafficking, forced labor conspiracy, human trafficking, and racketeering charges. The charismatic self-help guru founded and ran NXIVM, which he advertised as a professional development business. Prosecutors said the organization was a front Raniere used to traffic women and girls and mentally, physically, and sexually abuse them. Several victims read accounts of abuse at the sentencing hearing. Raniere said he was, quote, deeply sorry, end quote, and didn't mean to cause so much pain. Other NXIVM members have pleaded guilty to charges related to the cult. NXIVM gained notoriety as the subject of the HBO docuseries The Vow. This is according to The Hollywood Reporter and The New York Times. Number 7, judge rejects DOJ bid to defend Trump in defamation case. A federal judge on Tuesday rejected a Justice Department request to defend President Trump in writer E. Jean Carroll's defamation lawsuit. Carroll accused Trump in a book of raping her in a luxury department store dressing room in the 1990s. Trump denied the allegations and called her a liar, saying she made up her account to sell books. Carroll filed a defamation lawsuit in 2019, and the DOJ last month tried to take over Trump's defense, arguing that Trump was acting in his official capacity when he denied Carroll's allegations. Judge Lewis Kaplan said Trump, quote, is not an employee of the government, as Congress defined that term, end quote. So the lawsuit isn't against the United States, as the Justice Department argued. The government didn't immediately say whether it would appeal. This is according to ABC News and CNN. Number 8, Republican former prosecutors endorse Biden. 20 Republican former prosecutors signed an open letter released Tuesday endorsing Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden in next week's election, saying he would work to unify a divided country. They called President Trump, quote, a threat to the rule of law in our country, end quote, and accused him of politicizing the Justice Department and using it, quote, to serve his personal and political interests, end quote. The letter was organized by Ken Weinstein, who served as the U.S. Attorney in Washington and a top national security advisor under President George W. Bush. The prosecutors were the latest in a series of prominent Republicans who have announced their support for Biden in the run-up to the November election. Hogan Gidley, a spokesman for the Trump campaign, dismissed the letter, saying nobody, quote, should be surprised establishment elitists are supporting Joe Biden, end quote. This is according to the New York Times. Number 9, Hurricane Zeta expected to hit Gulf Coast. Hurricane Zeta, which weakened to tropical storm status, crossing Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, but strengthened again over the Gulf of Mexico, is likely to hit the U.S. Gulf Coast late Wednesday as a Category 1 hurricane, according to the National Hurricane Center forecasters. The storm's top sustained winds reached 85 miles per hour early Wednesday. Parts of Louisiana, including New Orleans and Mississippi, are now under hurricane warnings. Quote, this is a life-threatening situation, end quote, the Hurricane Center said Tuesday. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards asked President Trump to declare a federal emergency to speed up the response. Quote, I anticipate the need for emergency protective measures, evacuations, and sheltering for high-risk areas, end quote. Edwards wrote, if Zeta hits as a hurricane, it will be the latest hurricane to hit the continental U.S. since 1985. This is according to NPR and the National Hurricane Center. Number 10, Jon Stewart to host new current affairs show on Apple TV+. Apple TV Plus on Tuesday announced it has signed a deal with comedian Jon Stewart for multiple seasons of a new current affairs show. This will be Jon Stewart's first return to television since his departure from The Daily Show in 2015, when Trevor Noah took over as host. Stewart's new show will be a, quote, 1 hour single issue series, end quote, that will, quote, explore topics that are currently part of the national conversation and his advocacy work, end quote. And each season will be accompanied by a companion podcast. Stewart told the New York Times in June he, quote, sometimes, end quote, wishes that he had his own show, quote, but not the one I had. My efficacy for that kind of conversation has passed, end quote. This is according to Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. That's 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, October 28th, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. This has been What Makes You Smarter. I am Keys Dan. Thank you so much for putting up with my stumbling as well. I'm trying to make myself smarter, keep up with current events, and while I'm at it, might as well read into this microphone and into this broadcast software, and maybe you'll take the journey along with me if you like the sound of my voice. Now, if you want to have a conversation with me, and if you want to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And if you're watching the video version of this, you'll see on the scrolling screen that there's Keys Dan Gaming. What's that, you say? I'm playing video games online. Find that using the hashtag Keys Dan Gaming. You could find me on Twitch and Facebook Gaming. Yeah, I'm playing video games. You got any games I should be playing? What do you suggest? I'm playing a lot of Fortnite and Rocket League and sometimes Call of Duty. There's got to be some other games I could play, right? That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace.